Are Chelsea here to transfer players or to win trophies?
But they've just won 2 trophies last year.
A Mickey Mouse trophy.
No, Club World Cup. They've just beat PSG.
You've just said they haven't got a squad better than the other teams in the Premier League. How is that possible when you've spent £2 billion on a squad?
We need to go.
Now 2 today, and then 8 in the German league. He's been really on the top of his form.
And is carrying, but I know we're praising other players as well, but his goals are carrying Bayern, aren't they?
Yes, well, that's why they bought him for. So that's the pressure that he's having, and he's delivering. Look, the competition is not as strong as the Premier League, but you still have to score the goals, you still have to be there, and you still have to put them away. And he's putting them away.
Your thoughts on Harry Kane's performance and just your expectations for him this season?
For me, the whole team. You know, obviously he's the guy at the end of it, but the way they press as a team, he said it himself, it is just outstanding what they're doing. Hopefully they can carry on like this, but the way they played as a team, to be able to score 10 goals like that, we all know what he can do, and he's been doing it year in, year out, whether if it was at Tottenham or now at Bayern Munich. So goals will always be. But the way they play as a unit right now, it does look good against a team. Yes, we all know maybe it's not the best team in Europe, although they won the Club World Cup. I'm talking about in this competition, you will think more about Barcelona and other teams, obviously, and Paris Saint-Germain. But Bayern does look good. And like I said, I wanted to ask that question, but Peter did ask it. I think for me, he will be looking to win the Champions League.
Mm. Can I just ask you, sorry, Kate, about striker Kane? How good is, you played in that position, how good is he in terms of, obviously we know his all-round game, but when we talk about elite strikers, especially over the last 20 years, where would you put him? What bracket would you put him? How much do you rate him?
What I like is the evolution of the player.
Mm.
I remember going to see him one time and for a previous job that I was doing, and I asked him, you know, like, you score a lot of goals, but sometimes you forget about your teammates and you don't try to look for a pass. He said, "You're right, I'll work on that." Then he came up with it. Then, you know, he's trying to get better all the time. And he's been doing it. And, you know, the higher you go and, no disrespect to Tottenham, he's playing in a better team now. Yeah. So that will enhance his quality.
What advice did you give him in that moment?
Oh, no, I didn't have to give him anything because I saw the way he was talking and in his eyes that he is a guy that works. Do you understand what I mean? That he didn't need anything. You could see that he knew, you know, what he had to do. And by the way, it's one thing to say it, and it's another thing to do it, and he did it.
I think he's England's greatest ever centre-forward or goal scorer. You know, he's done it in the Premier League with a team who aren't one of the top teams. He's gone abroad now, Bayern Munich, huge pressure, all eyes on him. What was his numbers there? 90-odd goals in 100 games or something like that. Ridiculous. He's been a top goal scorer in the World Cup. He is one of the greatest goal scorers the game's seen. And I think, you know, you think of some great strikers England have had in the past, and obviously some great ones.
So he's got the most. You think he's higher than?
Okay.
Shearer? No, I'm not. It's not a debate. It was like.
I know he's your mate because of the podcast, but he scored more goals for England than Shearer. If he'd have stayed in the Premier League, he'd have got the Premier League thing as well. He's gone abroad to one of the biggest clubs in the world and scored goals. He's like, his numbers are off the scale.
I get your argument, and I wasn't.
It's not an argument,
I wasn't saying, but obviously the times are different then. What, he's got 260 goals in the Premier League, Alan Shearer, arguably against better defenders at this time. So when you say...
What do you mean arguably? I was a defender probably...
Yeah, but the centre-halves back then were greater than now. True or not true?
I don't know. Van Dijk's playing now.
But that's one... Name 6 top defenders in the Premier League right now.
Right now. He's not playing in the Premier League now, he's in the Bundesliga.
Oh, my God.
No, but I think, the discussion went too far. Like, if we go back to the player, I would say that for me, if we talk about a complete striker, that's him.
Yeah, he can come deep, he can get on the ball, he can play people in, he's the best striker
We can raise question
had.
about pressing, because pressing also is part of being a striker. But if we go, when you're on the ball, he can drop, he can ping, maybe he cannot play on the right or on the left, which is different because we all know he's a 9. But this guy is complete.
The thing I get a bit thingy with Harry Kane is that he doesn't get the credit he deserves. Now, I've just said something like, I think he's the best, but you've straight away said Shearer, and Shearer was amazing, and I think lots of people would say what you've said. But when you just stack his numbers and his facts up there, I don't know why it's not even just a given that he is. He's playing for Tottenham, a team who haven't won the league for about 60 years. He's playing for England, scored more goals, got more caps than probably any. He's got more goals than anyone.
You can't do it off that. It was.
What was it off then?
Internationally, it was way harder.
Why was it? Why was it?
They're back at it.
Why was it?
England played now in the qualifiers.
We have a convo.
It's a lower standard than it was before.
Anyway, anywho, as you would say.
Okay.
Well, Todd Boehly came in as a chairman at Chelsea. It was 3.5 years ago. At first, Boehly tended to invest in veterans. Then when that failed, he kind of moved on to signing a surplus of young players and signing them to very long-term contracts. That Boehly system does have its critics. Last season, though, it did seem to pay off to some extent with some trophies and a return to the Champions League. So I guess we're interested in your guys' thoughts on it.
Let's start with the critics first.
Do you like it, yes or no?
Put your point across. Your critics.
You didn't even...
Go on.
He
said critics, so let's start with the critics.
Wow.
You don't like the system, and I will debate you.
No, listen, there's no right or wrong way of going about running a football club or trying to be successful. It doesn't matter about the system. The point I'm trying to make is we can't pretend this has been a success so far after 3.5 years. They came into a club and the manager was Thomas Tuchel. He'd won the Champions League at that club. At that stage under Thomas Tuchel, Manchester City and Liverpool were possibly the two best teams in world football alongside Real Madrid, so it was very difficult for anybody to win the Premier League. But Chelsea were the third best team. It wasn't Manchester United, it wasn't Arsenal, it was Chelsea. They then changed that manager. Okay, they then take a team who were very close to competing and winning the biggest trophies like they did in the Champions League, and then go and spend, what have we spent? £2 billion. Okay? They are no closer, they are further away than what that manager was doing 3.5 years ago in terms of competing with the top teams in the Premier League. They're further away, having spent £2 billion. They've had to bend the rules, or break the rules, if you like, around PSR in England, in terms of selling the women's team to themselves. It didn't break the rules, but listen, we know it wasn't...
It's clever, right?
Yeah, OK, other teams are doing it now, but... So that proved it wasn't going well. They've been fined by UEFA, I think, twice already as well. So that, again, tells you things aren't exactly running smoothly.
Yeah, but there's been progress, haven't they?
In what way?
If you finish in the league in his first season 12th, and then you finish 6th, and then you finish 4th, and then you win the Club World Cup, and then you win...
Chelsea,
it doesn't matter what we're talking about.
Jesus.
We're talking about where they are now. If we're talking about progress, yes, he spent a lot of money, but there has been progress. You can't see that. They beat one of the best teams in Europe. Well, the best team in Europe in PSG. They did it ever so well. I'm not saying Chelsea are going to win the Premier League, but I can see
just stop
progress.
there. You know, you're saying Chelsea are not going to win the Premier League. Let's not forget where Chelsea have come from. Chelsea are a winning machine.
Okay.
Since Abramovich came in 20 years ago,
Man United have been a winning machine. Man United, in this period of the last 6-7 years, have spent an awful lot of money.
13 years.
Man United have basically finished 16th or 17th, 15th, 16th, 17th last year, and now nowhere near the Champions League. So if you go back and say, okay, 12, progress, 6, okay, I agree with you in Poch. I think there was building something special there. I didn't think they need to change the manager, but Maresca's come in.
How many managers they had already?
But that doesn't matter, though. That doesn't matter because he's looking for success. And if you're saying progress, yes, okay, in terms of, you mentioned a way of doing it. At this moment in time, Man City and Arsenal and Liverpool have got a better squad than Chelsea. You talk about doing something, you mentioned the word that they've been fined. So you're insinuating that they've done something wrong. I actually think...
Not insinuating, it's a fact.
No. Okay. You're insinuating they've done something wrong. I think it's very clever the way Chelsea have done their business, spread contracts over 7-8 years, and you only have to pay, say, 10 million. Say, let's take Mudryk. It's a bad example, but in terms of the deal, they had to spread the deal over an 8-year period. So you don't pay...
So that was a success, that deal?
I'm saying the way they structured the deal was a success.
Do you think they've ended up with an oversaturated squad, though, Micah?
I think their squad isn't as good as the rest of the teams I'm talking about in the Premier League. I think they could buy more quality rather than quality. But João Pedro's been a good signing. Kittens did well at Dortmund. And if you look at what they're trying to do, they're trying to buy young players who, if we talk about the players out, I don't know if we can switch to that slide now. How many times Man City have waited too long before they could sell anyone? Chelsea are very good at selling on an asset because of Bayern Young, they've still got value. And look at the fees here. Madueke, $66.6 million. We go down Nkunku. Yes, he had an injury.
They made over $1 million in income, yeah.
Exactly. I just think Chelsea are going about it a different way. Whether we agree with it or not.
Are Chelsea here to transfer players or to win trophies?
Of course, but they've just won 2 trophies last year.
A Mickey Mouse trophy.
Come on. Club World Cup. They've just beat PSG, European champions.
You've just said they haven't got a squad better than the other teams in the Premier League. How is that possible when you've spent £2 billion on a squad?
We need to go.
Unfortunately,